Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Dave's Old Iron and Stuff, where it is a beautiful sunny day today. It's Friday, the 20th of March, 2026. We're heading to the low 80s today, which is actually July temperature weather-wise. Crazy for the state of Idaho this time of year, but that's a different story in itself. And speaking of the story, today I'm going to be doing a little something different on the video. I'm going to be talking to a longtime friend of mine that is one of the last of an antique tractor company family. And he's going to share some of his memories and thoughts with us today on that. And then you're going to hear the term Palouse. I'm not making it up. Let me read you something from Wikipedia here on it. The Palouse is a geographic region in northwestern United States which encompasses parts of north central Idaho, Washington, southeastern Washington, that is, and by some definitions, parts of northeast Oregon. It is a major agricultural area, primarily producing wheat and legumes. Now, I've been through the Palouse country, and I'll be the first one to tell you, if you can find the right country road and you have a fast car with four wheels under it, you got yourself your own dadgum roller coaster. Here's a quick picture of it. Now, the name Palouse comes from kind of a mixed up theory on where it came from. Some say it was converted by French-Canadian fur traders to the more familiar word Palouse, which means land, short and thick grass or lawn. And another theory is that it came from the indigenous inhabitants of the area, or what the Canadian fur traders called them. So, yeah, a little bit of that, but yeah, you can look up Palouse, P-A-L-O-U-S-E, and figure it out for yourself. But there's a reason why we're talking about the Palouse country today, and a manufacturer of combines. Yeah. So anyway, let's get right to the show. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Dave with Dave's Old Iron and Stuff. And today we are talking about crawling. Old geezers crawling. And the reason why I say that is joining me today is a longtime friend of mine, John. Okay to call you John?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, didn't tell you his last name yet, but you'll never know who you know. Because John here and I, well, they named a football stadium after him up at the
Idaho State.
And he's part of what is now known as the Caterpillar Company. I'd like to introduce you to my good longtime friend, John Holt, folks. And he's got a heck of a story to tell you about him meeting the last of the bests. So, John, take it away. Tell me your story.
Yeah, it was 2012, and my uncle Woody Sherwood Davis out of Corbett, Oregon, had received a diagnosis of ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. And so he had a bucket list of things he wanted to do before he passed. And so we went to the Heydrich Ag Museum in Sacramento, California. And we went down there, an awesome museum, highly recommend it for anybody who would want to go, but full of Holt caterpillars and thrashing machines, and I didn't realize the family history was so
very diverse.
And yeah. I, as a kid growing up, they would make a big deal about the last name of the family, but I never really paid much attention to any of that. And while we were there, I was in the museum. My uncle was wandering around in the museum and was in the gift shop. And there was a room off to that had all these dignitaries, folks from Caterpillar were there, just a lot of people. And they were talking to my uncle if he wanted to come into the room. And he said, well, what's going on? And they said, Mr. Best is here. And he says, Mr. Best. And she says, yes, one of the founders of Caterpillar is here.
Yeah, the last one of the bunch.
last of the family.
Yeah.
And they were really, really making a huge deal of it and that. And my uncle goes, that's funny because my nephew, one of the descendants of the Holt side, is here at the museum. And I'm in the museum and these people come up and get me by the arm and are talking to me when I come into this room. And I said, sure. And she says, Mr. Best is here. And I says, that's nice. And
you didn't know who he was.
Didn't know who he was. And we went into this room and sat down, and they went over and whispered to Mr. Best that I was there. My uncle explained to him how we were related, and I still to this day don't know 110%, but it had to do with my great-grandfather and his brother Emmett. Emmett left off to California, and that's all I know how that all unfolded. And but at any rate, we sat down. Very nice man. We shook hands, and they were taking pictures. And as a joke, because I'd heard stories that when they did the merger that the Holtz kind of took it into shorts. But the funny part of that was I leaned in and I said, don't worry, the lawsuit's coming. And he sits back and I said, nah, just kidding.
And this was to Mr. Best.
This is to Mr. Best. And everybody got a good laugh and chuckle out of that and took lots of pictures. But that's how that went. So,
and there's a photo of you floating around somewhere with you shaking Mr. Best's hand.
I'll find that and I'll send that to you and you can put it on
we'll
your
put it
channel.
in the channel then when he gets that to me.
Yep. It was a very neat opportunity to actually meet and learn a lot about the family history. I was very impressed. And
well, because Holt was big in agricultural equipment first.
Yes.
Specifically threshing machines.
Yes, especially in the Palouse up in the Washington area, that they had the undercarriages that would tilt so they could do side hill threshing.
Yes, side hill combines are nothing new. His family invented the things clear back in the teens, early 20s.
Even, early teens.
Yeah, and they were pulled by, like 40, 50, 60 horses or mules.
I didn't realize even during World War I that they had taken dozers and plated them and made equipment to fight. But all you had
to protect the drivers.
Yeah, they just had little slits for their guns into the lookout. It was crazy.
Well, that must be something to do, because here, remember a couple of years back, that guy up there in Oregon made that crawler into an armored tank kind of a thing and tore around through the town and leveled the town. Yeah,
exactly.
So it must be a relative of yours.
I don't think so. I don't claim anybody like that. So
anyway, well, this is just a little quick update on what I've got going on in the world, and my friend John here. So, anything else you got? Memories or anything from that little trip with meeting Mr. Best?
No, it was just a really nice museum. Very nice folks there.
Yeah.
Give good personal tours if you want a personal tour, and you could spend a good couple of days there.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah. I've heard that museum. It may have changed names. Is what you're thinking?
You can go online still, and it shows Heidrich. H-E-I-D. Rick Museum in Sacramento. Yep.
Okay. So Heidrich Museum in Sacramento, California. If you want, look that up. Or Ag Museum. Yeah, because it took the Holt and the Best companies to merge to come up with Caterpillar. And like I said, Best was mostly into, they built a lot of crawlers, and Holt did too eventually, but their big thing was the machinery that went behind them. So,
well, it's my understanding that the Holt's actually invented the crawler portion of the undercarriage of a dozer that was able to float, so to speak, above the ground. And,
Right, yeah.
and during the day, I was told that when the two of them merged, the day of the photo shoot for the company for Caterpillar, when they merged, there was an actual caterpillar crawling on the ground, and Bess told Holt, "Look, that looks like the undercarriage of our tractor," and that's how they had come up with
How
the
they
name
come up with the name
Caterpillar.
of it is because of the undulations of the tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so now we know what we knew. I'd heard the story about the tracks going over the rollers and stuff, making it look like a caterpillar, but didn't have the story behind it of Best seeing a caterpillar.
Yep.
And putting the two and two together. So, well, John, I thank you very much for taking a couple minutes out here to be on my little YouTube channel. And
No problem. Been a friend 40 years.
God, has it been that long?
Well, I
You
have
remember that 20 you owe me?
I'm senile. I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, we're all getting seniors-itis. Yeah,
Exactly.
senioritis. Yeah. Well, that's going to be it for this little segment, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll catch up with you later.
See ya.
Yeah, thanks now. Bye-bye.
There.
Yeah, his head didn't hurt.
No.
You got time for lunch?
Yeah, if that's what you're wanting to get along to do.
You want to go down to the Snug? Or you
I've
wanna go
never
over to the
been
Taco
there.
Joe? You've never been to the Snug? Oh my God, you got to go to the Snug.
No.
Yeah, you got to go to the Snug. Hang on, let me get up.
I know, that's probably not some help.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was a little bit different, something off the wall, and yeah, I used to poke fun of John all the time because I understood the Holt crawler, deal, knew about those tractors, so I always told him, that's why the heading of crawling, because we were old. But yeah, I used to tease him a little bit about that. Now that he's found out that he's actually legitimately part of that family, I'm going to have to take it all back, I guess. Anyway, big shout out to John Holt to thank him for coming along and doing our little show today. And I hope you enjoyed it. A little bit of fun and interesting anecdotes there. Anyway, we'll see you next time around. Y'all be careful and be safe out there. Bye-bye for now.